Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am a Jen who reads, and this is my September reading wrap-up. All right, I'm going to try this video a little bit different. I'm going to just go from beginning to end without stopping my camera, so we'll see how that works out for me. September ended up being a pretty good reading month. Out of all of the books that I had on my TBR, there was only two that I didn't get around to. One was Priory of the Orange Tree, which I pretty much knew I wasn't going to get around to. I didn't feel the commitment in me to finish that book. And then the other one was Una Out of Order. So that one's probably going to be just pushed back until December or January. So I did read a total of 7.5 books. And the reason I say a half is because I did not finish Babel. I'm almost finished with it. I have a little bit left to go, so I'll probably end up finishing it in October. I liked it at the beginning. I'm still enjoying it. There's just a lot of unnecessary talk, I believe, in my opinion. You know, it's about language and the development of language. And there are some chapters where it just gets a little bit like mind-boggling and I kind of start to zone out. So although I am enjoying it, and I think that it will have a fairly high rating from me at the end, it's just not a book that I feel tempted to pick up all of the time. But I am pretty close to being done with it, so I really do think that I'm going to finish it this month. And then I'll talk to you about my final feelings about it next month for next month's wrap-up. All right, so I did read the third book in the Wayward Children series by Seanan McGuire, Beneath the Sugared Sky. I gave this a 5 stars, just like I've given every single book in this series a 5 stars. This one gave major Candyland vibes. And so I really enjoyed it. It's a quick read. It only took me a few hours to finish, and I can't wait to pick up the rest of the books in the series. The next one, I listened to this on audio, even though I have a physical copy, and that's Daisy Jones and the Six. I recommend listening to this on audio because every character is a different narrator, so it's really fun to listen to. The time just flew by on this. I'm in the process now of watching the show on Amazon Prime, and it's very similar. I mean, they did a great job. The show is almost exactly the book, but it's sort of slow. I'm not sure. I'm only like, I haven't even finished 2 episodes, and I'm just kind of like, I don't even know if I'm going to finish it. But the book was really good. So I definitely recommend this one. Let's see. I did give this a 5 stars also. All right, so the next one, this is Shatter Me. This is an ARC. I've had this copy for like 6 or 7 years. It's been on my TBR. And I had a student who kept asking me to read it, So I did. I picked it up. I'm really glad that I picked this one up, even though it wasn't on my scheduled TBR. I'm definitely going to read the whole series. I gave this a, what did I give this? I gave this a 4.25 stars. Honestly, I read it a few weeks ago. I don't remember why I gave it a 4.25 stars. But I really liked it, and I'm definitely going to continue it. It is YA. It's been a while since I've read something that was YA, but I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to pick up probably the box set so that I have like a matching set, because this is, I don't really like this copy, but because it's an ARC and it's all written on. So, but I definitely liked it. I definitely enjoyed it, and it was a good recommendation. Okay, so the next book is a book, so this is by Nora Roberts, and it's The Awakening, and this is in her what is it, The Dragonheart Legacy. So this is the first book. I think there's 3 in this series. So I've heard really good things about this, but this particular book, nothing happened in this whole book. It was just a setup for the other 2 books. So you got to learn a lot about the characters. There was a lot of descriptions of the world and the world building. And I really did enjoy it. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I did give it a 3.5 stars, and the only reason it wasn't higher was because there was no action in this. However, I can sort of see where this book is going, where this trilogy is going, and I do think that the next 2 books... Hey! Just a minute. Sorry about that. My dog's got a little out of control. But I do think that the series is going to get better. I do think it is going to involve a whole lot more action. So that's why I'm going to keep up with this. I did give this a 3.5 stars, and it's only because there really wasn't a whole lot of action in it. All right, the next book is, I finished the Mistborn Era 1, so I finished Hero of Ages. I gave this a 4 stars. There were times where it was a little slow, but overall I loved it. I really enjoyed it. The series as a whole is definitely a 5. And Ellen Venture is my book boyfriend. I really love his character. And while I was happy about everything that happened and how everything ended, it didn't necessarily tie up in a nice, neat bow for every single person. So it was a little bit more realistic. I did listen to a video, a BookTube video, where somebody was recommending the order to read all of the Cosmere books and the Branfon Sanderson books. And so I am going to pick up the next book in the series. It's not going to be Mistborn Era 2 though, because according to this video, there are some other books that I need to read first so that I will recognize some Easter eggs in some of the other books. But this was my first Branfon Sanderson series, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm definitely going to keep continuing with Branfon Sanderson in 2024. All right, let's see. That is all of the physical books that I have. The only other one, there's 2 more. So I listened to Beach Read by Emily Henry. I listened to that on audio, and I gave it a 3.75 stars. It's one of my favorite ones by her. But to be honest, as I'm sitting here talking about it, I don't really remember a whole lot about it. So it was just okay. My first Emily Henry book that I read was Book Lovers, and I loved Book Lovers, and none of the books that I've read by her since then have really compared. The only one that I have left, I think, is Happy Place, and so I am on the wait list for that at the library, but it's going to be a little while. And then I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue on my Kindle, and I gave that a, let me find it, I gave that a 3 stars. And I'll tell you why. I loved the story. I loved the characters. I just felt like it did not need to be that long. And there was so much I felt like they could have cut out of there, and it would have still been a great story. So I loved the story. I loved everything about the story. I just felt that there was a lot of unnecessary information. And it took me two months to read, just picking it up here and there, because like I never really felt like I really wanted to pick up this book and get back into it. So the only time I really ever read it was when I was laying in bed and my book wasn't upstairs and I had my Kindle. Or sometimes I would pick it up on my phone if I was in a restaurant or something. So I did give it a 3 stars. It's definitely not my favorite. It's been on my read list for the longest time. So I am, a little bit disappointed about that. So anyways, that's my September TBR. That's not my September TBR. That is my September reading wrap up. Sorry, I'm a little discombobulated today. Anyways, follow me on all of my socials. All the links will be in the description below, and I will see you next time.